Hello and welcome to Dotnet with Sikhen, and our today's topic is abstract versus interface. So we have learned like what exactly the abstract class is and then interface is, right? And also we learned like how we can achieve abstractions in C Sharp. So the by the help of abstract and interfaces we can achieve the abstraction in C Sharp. But let's try to understand the differences, what exactly the difference between abstract class and interface, and when to use what, right? So how we can decide like what we need to use in the application. Should we use abstract class or should we use interface? Let's get started. Abstract versus interface. Abstract. So in abstract class, it has both abstract and non-abstract methods. But in case of interface, we have only the abstract methods, right? So all the methods are by default abstract here in the interface. It can have fields and constructor. So basically this is a class, so it can have fields and constructor both. But in case of interface, it has only the properties. It does not have fields or constructors. It supports access modifier, but interface does not support access modifier. So all the members are by default public here. So you don't need to provide any access modifier in interface. But in case of abstract class, you can mark the field or properties or data members as an when needed, like private, public, or protected, whatever you want. Only one abstract class is inherited, but in case of interface, we can inherit multiple interfaces in a interface, or we can implement multiple interfaces in a class. So this is the basic difference between abstract class and interface. But when to use what, right? That we also look at it. So here you can see abstract class and interface and when to use what. So when you have the shared functionality across classes, right? So let's say you want some common things that must be there for all the classes who inherits the abstract class. That is the shared functionality basically. But in case of interface, when you see the multiple interfaces is getting you can say like implemented in the child class, then basically we can use the interface. So here we can have multiple methods in different interfaces, and I want all those methods in the class. Then I can do I can implement all those interfaces in that class. Need constructor to initialize. When there is a need to initialize some data members of the class, then you can use the abstract class because it support constructors. Here we have multiple behaviors. For example, different methods could be in different interfaces. So we need all those interface methods, then we can use interface. Certain functionality must be implemented, because in abstract class we can have abstract and non-abstract members. So the abstract members you must implement it. In interface we have the concept of dependency injection. I will discuss more this thing in our upcoming videos, but yeah, today we'll also see like how it works. Heavy object may decrease the performance. So when abstract class, you, because it is the shared functionality or data members, right? So you can have the huge abstract class or huge data member or member functions in the abstract class. So it becomes a little heavy, and because of that the performance basically decreases here. But in case of interface, when you pass interface as a parameter, it boosts the performance. I will show you how it boosts the performance. So let's quickly jump into the Visual Studio and look at this performance part, at least in an action. Okay, so here I have created two interface. One is the I parameter, and it has the calculate parameter abstract method, or you can say the method. And I have one more interface, that is the I area, and it has two things. One is the property and another is the calculate area. And here is the square. This is the shape which implements both the interfaces, I area and I parameter. And here you can see it has its own property, that is the side, and the calculate area and calculate parameter, it comes from both the interfaces eye area and eye perimeter, and it has its implementation also. In case of calculate area, the the area of square is side into side, and then the perimeter of square is side into 4. So that is the implementation. Now let's talk about the abstract class, that is the shape, and already we have discussed these things. But now here you can see this is one of the property, and there are two abstract method. One is the calculate area and another is the calculate perimeter. So the class which inherits this shape must implement both the functions, and now it has a few more methods, and that is basically display and describe it. So these are normal methods of the abstract class shape, and inside this describe method we have the calling calculate area. So the class which inherits this shape must implement these two things. So look at here, we have rectangle class, and then in this rectangle class inherits from shape class, right, and it has its own property like length and breadth, and then we have overridden those two methods, calculate area and calculate perimeter. So area of rectangle is length into breadth, and the perimeter of rectangle is 2 into length plus breadth. So this is the implementation, and then we have one virtual method describe, and we have overridden it, right? So this is the implementation basically. Now I want to show you how the performance is increased in case of interface. So let's look at these two class here. Public class handle abstract. So basically this class will handle the abstract method, or you can say the abstract class what we have. So here you can see there is a method process shape, and it takes shape, that is the abstract class, as a parameter, and it calls the shape.describe. So that inside this describe method we have the calculate area. So basically currently we are just concerning about the calculating the area. So this is all about the handle abstract, and let's look at the handle interface also, right? And then here we have one method process area, and I am just taking about one of the interface, right, eye area of area, because currently our goal is to just take care about the area of the shapes, that's it. And here is the implementation, console.write line area of name is area.calculate area, right? So in main method, let's say how we can implement it so that we can understand like the performance, or the performance of each. Actually we will look at here and we'll see which one is better, right? So now here I have created one object of handle abstract, and then I have called this method process shape, and it basically require one shape, that is the rectangle, right? Because rectangle is inheriting from shape, and in this process shape we have shape parameter here, right? So you need to pass one object of rectangle so that shape can understand, right? And you can see the timer also, right? I have used stopwatch to look at how much time it takes to process this shape, right? So that is the meaning. And also I have printed it like handle abstract took this much of millisecond to process. So basically when this handle abstract will process it, right, so we can also look at how much time it takes to process. And in the same way we have the handle interface also, right? So we have again another stopwatch. Here also we can see process area, right, handle interface dot process area, and it requires one square instance, right, instance of square, because square implement eye area and eye perimeter both, but currently we are concerning just about the area, because in this handle interface we are passing eye areas and as a parameter, correct? So now again when you pass the instance of a square, then basically it process, right? And then here you can look at handle interface took this much of millisecond to process. Okay, so let's run it and look at the result first, and how it takes, or how much time it takes, right? Now here you can see first one is the rectangle. So it's a rectangle with length 5 and breadth 3, and my rectangle has area 15, right? And handle abstract took 17 millisecond to process. Now you can see how much time it took, right? 17 milliseconds. But in case of square, so area of my square is 16, and then it has the handle interface, took 0 millisecond to process. Now look at the performance. It took 17, but it took 0, right? So this is the difference of using the interface. So now you must thinking like when to use what, right? Now you can consider the performance first, right? Okay, so if you enjoy this video, then please like it and also subscribe my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.